Hare Krishna. Welcome all devotees to the Gita Daily program. Thank you all for joining. So today we will be discussing Sloka number 2.59. So let us take the blessings of the Lord, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai Sudarshan, Gavantai Panchatattva and Lord Lakshmi Narasimhadev. By their mercy, we will be able to understand the scriptural topics. So let us start the prayer. Om Adnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashala Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhudale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So let's dedicate the session to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Founder of International Society for Krishna Consciousness, by whose mercy we are able to understand Bhagavad Gita in a simple and practical way. So let's thank Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So today's sloka is 2.59. So we are continuing the discussion on Bhagavad Gita here. So let us recite the sloka. विषया विनिवर्तन्ते निराहारस्य देहिना रसवर्ज्यं रसोऽप्यस्य परं दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते. Repetition. विषया विनिवर्तन्ते निराहारस्य देहिना रसवर्ज्यं रसोऽप्यस्य परं दृष्ट्वा निवर्तन्ते. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remains. But ceasing such engagement by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. So we'll see the word meaning. Vishaya, object of sense enjoyment. Vinivartante are practiced to be refrained from. Niraharasya, by negative restrictions. Dehina, for the embodied. Rasavarjam, giving up the taste. Rasa, sense of enjoyment. Api, although there is. Asya, his. Param, far superior things. Drishtva, by experiencing. Nivartade, he ceases from. So we'll look at the translation again. Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense object remains. But ceasing such engagement by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. So we are continuing the discussion on Bhagavad Gita. So today's sloka is actually 2.59. So what is Krishna talking about to Arjuna in this sloka? So he's actually giving instructions to Arjuna. How can we control the senses, right? So before we saw in the past few sessions, we understood the who is the real person, right? Who is dwelling in the body? The body is like a dress, and the real person is the soul or the Atma, right? And all the senses and the sense enjoyment is connected with the body. So we know that there are five senses, like through which we acquire the knowledge. They are known as the Dhanendriyas, like the eyes, nose, ears, smell, and tasting and touch, right? So the five senses are there. So the senses are like the windows to the external world. So the jiva, which is trapped in the body, experiences the world or the material world through his five senses. So if the five senses doesn't work, then the jiva cannot experience anything. Like it will be completely disconnected from the existence. So the five senses are like the world, and then the jiva, he get all the inputs from through the senses, and he enjoys, and sometimes suffers. Like when there is a heat, he is in suffering, and when there is cold, he is in enjoyment. So this way, there are dualities in the material world, and the sense through the sense perception, the jiva actually understands or experiences different incidents or events in his life. So here actually this is a very profound instruction by the Lord to Arjuna, that how can we control the senses, right? So the essence of this shloka is that there is the artificial control of the senses is not sustainable, right? We may try to restrict the senses from enjoyment, but then that actually cannot take us very far. As soon as we get a chance, the senses actually, they rebound. The suppressed senses will rebound, and actually, we again fall in trap, into the sense enjoyment. So how we can enjoy, how we can restrict the senses is only by experiencing a higher taste. So when we experience a higher taste, then the lower taste not, no, naturally they become unimportant or less attractive, right? So this is the shloka today's discussion. So we look into a little more detail. Yeah. So what is the essential lesson is that just artificial renunciation is not going to work, right? So we just discussed, suppression of desire led to permanent doesn't lead to permanent detachment. So example, we have in the story, in the Puranas, the story of Vishwamitra, right? He was a great sage, and he was controlling the senses. But then, when Manaka, the Apsara, came, he could not continue his meditation, and his meditation broke. And then he came down to the material platform, right? Similarly, we also saw Ajamila, right? Ajamila also actually was subject to, and he saw, that no when he went to the forest and he saw a man and woman in the forest, again is, he also fell down from his strict practices. So unless and until we get a higher taste, the lower taste cannot be controlled. So there's a shloka from Upadeshamrita by Srila Rupa Goswami. The shloka says, Vajo Vegam Manasa Krodha Vegam Jeho Vegam Uttaropasta Vegam Edan Vegan Yo Vishaya Radirat Sarvana Bhiman Pratyumsa Shishya. So what it says is that the Vega means the urges, right? The urges, basically the translation is a sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demand, the actions of anger and urges of tongue, belly, and genitals, is qualified to make disciples all over the world. So we just discussed, the different senses that acquire the knowledge, like we discussed. So we have to control, we need to control the senses, because these are the inputs, to the mind, and then the mind actually lingers on these sense objects, right? And gradually, it results in a chain of activities. So one actually is able to, whoever is able to control the urges, right, to speak. The tongue has two functions, right? One is speaking, and second is tasting the food, right? So actually, the tongue is the primary, or the most one of the most strong senses, because when it's mentioned that when we eat too much, right, then actually the other senses also get agitated. The belly, the tongue, belly, and genitals are in one line, so they are all interconnected. So one actually results into another. So unless until, so the point is that we need to have, unless until we get a higher taste, the lower taste actually will keep troubling the jiva in the material world. So this is not by accident. This is by design, because the jiva want to enjoy, right? He want to enjoy, and then because of which actually the material world is created for the jiva. So it is mentioned, like it's just like, uh, the jivas actually were originally part of the spiritual world, right? And then they were enjoying with the Lord in the constitutional position by serving the Lord. But sometimes some jiva, because the jiva has a free will, sometimes the jiva has a tendency, that he thinks that he want to enjoy independent of the Lord. Why the Lord only should enjoy? Let me enjoy. So because it is not possible in the spiritual world, the material world is existing. It's a reflection of the spiritual world, where the jiva can try out different things. Like the example is like, a father and a small child, right? A boy wants to drive his father's car, but the father doesn't give, right? Because it is risky for the child. So what the father does, he buys a toy car and give it to the child, right? And the child can play, does whatever he wants in the toy car. So similarly, the material world is like a toy world, right? Where actually there are material laws, and the jiva actually is covered by the Maya. Because when the jiva is not covered by Maya, he cannot enjoy, because he knows his relationship with the Lord, and he's supposed to serve the Lord, right? So in that knowledge, it is difficult for him to enjoy completely. So the Lord covers the intelligence and of the jiva with Maya, the curtain of Maya, so that the jiva forgets the Lord, and then he won't try to enjoy. But then after many lifetimes, he actually comes finally becomes frustrated, and then some jiva who falls fortunate, he may come in connection with a spiritual master who will guide him, and then his journey back home will start. Okay, so coming back to the point, so the material world is designed in such a way, right? So there are always temptations in the material world, and the jiva is constantly going after one after another. So sometimes we think that, okay, okay, we have so many desires, right? So somebody may think that, okay, when I retire I want to travel throughout the world, or somebody may say that I want to go to a very nice place, a village, and settle down. Like that we have various desires. So some of the desires are sattvic, some of them may be rajasic, and some of them may be tamasic, right? So irrespective of that, any all these desires actually are in the bodily platform, which actually will cause further bondage. Because when we acquire one thing, right, when we say think that, okay, I want to marry, right, we discussed some time back, then with marriage comes a set of other entanglement, right? Then we have to take care of the spouse, then no children we have to take care, then the parents, in-laws. So gradually, our network of entanglement increases. So nevertheless, the jiva keeps on having desires, and it takes more and more birth to fulfill it. So, but then point is that sometimes we think that, no, okay, I have not done this thing, right? I want to do this particular thing, which I have not done. So let me try to do it. Or I know, like, so these kind of thing, I want to eat this particular thing, I want to go to this country, etc., etc. But what we have to understand is that essentially the scriptures say that everything that we are thinking that no we want to enjoy, actually we have enjoyed in the past already, but may not be in this lifetime, right? So scriptures call it like puna charvida charvanam, like it's like chewing the chewed, because we have done all these things whatever we are desiring, right? Already in many other lifetimes in the past. Only thing we forgot, and again in this life we again think that, okay, we want to do these things. So we have to be more controlled, no, or we have to be more in a sattvic or elevated platform, so that we can understand that this enjoyment actually, like, it will never give satisfaction. So how scriptures give the example is that it's like pouring ghee to the lamp, right? A lamp actually is burning, and if you think that, no, by supplying the fuel to the lamp, the fire will be satisfied, right? But which is not the case. The more the fuel we supply, the more the fire will burn. So there's a story of King Yayadi, in Mahabharat, where actually, he was enjoying his life, but then he was not satisfied, right? And he actually he has taken, um, he borrowed the youth from his son, right? So that no he can continue enjoying, right? But then even after enjoying for thousands of years, he actually become frustrated. He was not satisfied, and finally, he renounced, and then he takes on the part of spirituality. So there are many examples in scriptures as well as we can see in day-to-day life. So so this is an illusion, no, that actually, we become happy, when actually we get this thing and we get that thing. But actually, this is not the real truth. So how can we get a higher taste? The higher taste can be achieved, like by experiencing the spiritual happiness, right? Because we have seen that, because we are not this body, we are actually the atma. The real happiness will come only when we act in the spiritual platform, on the platform of the soul, right? So this is possible only when we re-establish our connection with the Lord, right? Because the original purpose of jiva, it is mentioned, jivera swarup hoy krishna nityadas. So the real, the constitutional position of jiva is to serve the Lord. And whenever we serve the Lord, or when we are in connection with the Lord, then actually our transcendental happiness is invoked, right? And then that happiness actually is like millions of times, no, people who have experienced transcendental bliss, they say that it is millions of times more than the highest material pleasure one can have. Okay, so this way, like, no, so the highest material pleasure generally is considered as the sex pleasure, right? So this is considered the highest pleasure. But then the people who have experienced the spiritual bliss, they see that, this is very insignificant. Because the bodily platform is the temporary platform, which actually is, whatever experience or happiness we have, it is all very temporary. It is like, moment for a moment, but then afterwards it results in a lot of misery. So what we see is that, like when our Acharya Srila Prabhupada, he went to the Western countries, US, to start the movement. His goal was, he was carrying out his mission of his spiritual master, and went there. He found that the people in the US, United States, were extremely materialistic, and especially, he got many of the hippies, the so-called hippies of the 1960s. They were completely addicted to drugs, like illicit sex, gambling, intoxication. So all the laws of dharma they were breaking. So initially, such people used to come, to attend Srila Prabhupada's session, and these people were actually like so degraded that when once they took up the devotional service, right, when they start practicing bhakti, right, when they start hearing the Vedic topics, and when they started eating prasadam, right, chanting the holy name, they actually gave up all these tendencies completely, and then they become very pure devotees, right, and many of them became sannyasis, they completely renounced the world. So we can understand that unless and until there is a higher taste, in the path of bhakti, it is not possible for people who are so degraded, to give up all those tendencies. So this from this we can understand the profound, power of the spiritual practice, right? Actually, so what we have to endeavor is that we don't have to try to artificially give up the negative tendencies, but just start doing the positive things, right? Start doing spiritual practices small, by taking one step at a time, small steps, and slowly we will see that automatically all our lower tendencies, they are automatically, we become distasteful, the taste will go away for those things without our knowledge, right? And then actually we can elevate ourselves to higher platform. So it is, Srila Prabhupada says, a devotee of the Lord does not have to practice to control his senses. Because he is attracted to higher taste, he easily gives up the lower taste. Unless one is transcendently situated, it is not possible to cease from material engagement. So actually, there are different paths in spirituality, right? So one of the path actually is the path of negation. No, it is called neti neti. So not this, not this. So in this path, they try to give up. They artificially try to control the senses, right? And then many times we see that no, it is not successful, right? Sooner or later, it's just a matter of time. No? The senses will revolt because there is no higher taste, or there is no better engagement, that actually the person has got. So, and sometimes we see that no, externally the person may look appear renounced, but no, the mind actually is subtle, right? We can't know what the person is thinking, right? Externally, he may behave very gentleman, very decent, etc. But in the mind, he may be contemplating, about various naughty things, right? So this way, no, then he becomes a pretender. No? It is like an artificial, just to show others, you are acting like uh, a self-controlled person. So we'll look at one story from. So this some the story is about Yamunacharya. So Yamunacharya is also called Alavandar, right? He was born in the 10th century in Tamil Nadu, and he was the grandson of Nadamani, right? Who actually compiled all our hymns. So Yamunacharya actually was born in the tradition, of Sri Vaishnava kind of. Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya originated after a few generations when when Ramanujacharya came, in that succession. So as a boy, Yamunacharya was extraordinary. He was very intelligent, actually, and just at the age of 16, he defeated the royal scholar Akyalvan in a debate, actually, in the court. And because of this, the queen and the king became very pleased, and they donate the kingdom, half of the kingdom, to Yamunacharya. Right. So then Yamunacharya became the ruler. No, he was completely enjoying the material life. No, he was fully engrossed in sense gratification, sensual pleasures. Right. So he had two wives, and then he was completely engrossed. So, but then after some time, gradually, because his heritage was from the spiritual line, slowly, he started realizing the futility of material intelligence, right? And then he renounced the royal life. He gave up the kingdom, and he completely dedicated his life to scriptural study. He was situated in Srirangam, the temple of Ranganath, and then he started, learning the scriptures, and he became a devotee of the Lord. And he actually was the initial proponent of Vishishtadvaita, for further expanded by Ramanujacharya. So when Yamunacharya became self-realized, or when he became a devotee, right, he actually made a very famous verse of his realization. So what he mentioned is that, since I have begun to taste the nectar of service to Krishna, whenever I think of sex pleasure, my lips curl and I spit at that thought. So basically, this is just an example where actually Yamunacharya had gone through both the worlds. He had enjoyed material enjoyment when he was young, and later he actually started getting the spiritual bliss, in the service of the Lord, Ranganath, service of Krishna, right? And he felt that the bliss and the happiness that he experienced in serving the Lord, when he compares that, the other material pleasures like were completely insignificant. He was feeling that it was, he was so much foolish, to run behind those material treasures, right? So this is a very profound example from the scriptures, where we can see that how the higher taste, experiencing the higher taste, will automatically, give rise, elevate us to a higher platform, and all the lower pleasures look very, very insignificant. So with that, I think we come to the, main topic end. So what are the key lessons that we can learn from this topic? So one thing that we can experience, is that, so we cannot artificially control the senses, right? We cannot just restrict the senses without giving them a better engagement. So we have to convert all our propensities, enjoyment propensities, by using the senses in the service of the Lord, right? For example, tongue can be used for chanting. We can use the tongue for eating prasadam, which are boga, which is offered to the Lord, right? Then we can hear about transcendental topics associated with devotees, etc. Then in our professional life, actually we have to look at higher goals. No, the temporary setbacks, ups and downs, actually should not disturb us. We should have a focus which is on the higher goal, so that we can overcome the distractions which are there temporarily. In the family life, we should teach our children, how, like, give them positive engagement, like, just trying to restrict them or preventing them from doing certain things, is not sustainable. So we have to try to find a positive alternatives, and we cannot suppress their tendencies. We have to engage them in higher propensities, like, so that automatically their lower propensities will go away. So yeah, so in this today, I would like to just give you, some homework, right? So you can actually think, what is one thing that you are trying to give up and you are not able to give up, you're not successful in giving up, right? So you can think about one such activity, or one such point that you want to implement in your life, right? And then you also have to think, what is the higher taste that you can replace it with. So this thing you can write down, right, somewhere, so that you can see, and when you start practicing the path of spirituality, right, you can keep looking at this point, and then you can see, where are you making any progress, right? So so this is one small exercise you can try to do. And yeah, with that, I think we come to the end of the session, right? If there are any questions, you can ask. And also, I would like to ask you that if any of you are, started doing any spiritual activity, like after starting attending the sessions, right? Like, for example, chanting, or hearing more lectures. So if you can raise your hands, it will be good, so that I can just know. Um, there's an option, either you can put a chat saying that, what activity you're doing, or you can just raise your hands. I think chatting and putting a message in the chat will be better, so that, I can see it later also. So any of you, do you feel inspired, to do any spiritual activity, right? It can be any small activity, like, like, it can be japa, chanting the holy names. uh, Hare Krishna. Anybody want to speak? Let me see, is in the chat anything is there? Okay, Arun Prabhu is saying that he is chanting daily 108 times. Yeah, others, Santosh Kumar is saying, no, he's chanting 5 rounds, holy name. Yeah, any activity is okay. No? Like, or at least you can say, you do, is your interest in spiritual topics increased? Or no, are you hearing something more, or are you reading something? So any of these things you can share here. I think looks people are reluctant to open up. Okay. Okay, if you don't want to put it here, no, maybe you can send them a personal message also. I just like to know how we are making progress, right? Because we are doing session for, I think, almost 2 weeks now. I would like to know whether it is helping you, in some way or other. Yeah, if you're comfortable, you can unmute and speak, or no, you can also message me. So basically, the spiritual topics are not just theoretical. No, it is not just okay. Just we hear that, and there is no further action, right? It's something practical. So devotional service is a practical thing that we can apply in our life, so that our life is transformed, right? Just hearing definitely is a first step, but then unless until we do something, act on it, practically apply something in the life, it is not much useful, right? So we should start applying what we are learning, little by little, whatever simple small things also is okay. Any small step is okay. So yeah, so if you're not already doing something, please, Dhanlakshmi Maharaj is saying that remembering the Lord throughout the day and chanting consciously. So very nice. So please try to do some, take some small steps, whatever we learn. Maybe I hope you are making some notes, and with the notes, or of course, the lectures are available. You can hear later also. So try to apply some small steps. Take small. So I today I gave an exercise, right? You try to please work on it. That you identify one activity, that you want to give up, which you feel is not good, and what is the other activity you can replace it with. But then we can take very small steps in our life, right? And then this small steps actually will, like, learn along. Yes, I don't know. I can share actually. So basically, most of the things you will be available in Veda base. Uh, so we have the website called vedabase.io. I'll type the chat. So here you can
Yeah,
see
Prabhu.
most of the scriptures,
You can
available
hear me,
here.
right? Can you hear me?
Yes, 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 Prabhu.
Prabhu, just share me the books, or if it is podcast is also fine, like online, anything is fine. Because I
Sure.
was also searching.
Yes, Prabhu.
To share me,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
will read.
sure. So see, vedabase.io is a website, where most of the scriptural books actually we have are available, and podcast and other things I will share with you. Not an issue. So if somebody wants to leave, I think they're free to leave, because I think time is over. But if anybody wants to, share anything, like, it'll be nice to hear. So Arun Prabhu, you want to share your experience, like, how are you feeling, after attending the session?
Yeah, thank you. See, after, I know the association is more than 7 years with you, but thanks for your support, especially in spiritual journey. What I observed after joining regularly and chanting, that is one round of 108 times, I feel my energy is very concise and it is focused more, which I like, and my distraction is reduced a lot. Distraction in the sense can be anything. Only focusing on work, coming home, and chanting. So,
Okay, very
so it is
nice.
giving me
Mm.
inner peace. That's all I can say in short.
Yeah, that is a great thing, no? Having peace in today's world is a great. It's a difficult thing to achieve. Very nice to know, Arun Prabhu. Thank you for sharing. Okay, anybody else would like to
And
share?
thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Okay, if not, then thanks all of you for joining. And so tomorrow we will have a break as usual, Sundays. All of you are welcome to our center in Harlur. It's called Harlur. You can search in Google Map. So we have the program from 4:45 to 6:30. So we have kirtans. Then we have Bhagavad Gita session, 1 hour Bhagavad Gita session, like one shloka we discuss in detail, followed by dinner prasadam. So all of you are welcome to our center. And yeah, so thanks all of you for joining regularly, and please encourage your friends or other well wishers, no, so that they can also be benefited. So please keep connected. Thank you all for joining. So we'll end the session here. Hare Krishna,
Yeah, thank
Hare
you.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. See you on Monday.